Welcome to the Rime Buddhist Center's Dharma Talk podcast, Achieving Peace Through Compassion. This podcast is a recording of the Dharma Talks given during our Sunday service. This talk was given by Lama Matthew Palden Gocha.
I'm embarrassed, but I want to share a poem with you. I've been inspired by Tasha. She writes these amazing poems, and I want to share one that I came up with. It's on the winter solstice. So today is the winter solstice. It kind of is also inspired by my Dharma talk. So the poem is called Winter Solstice, and it goes, "The longest night arrives quietly, holding a promise it does not announce. The sun is not gone. It waits behind cloud and cold, steady in its orbit, faithful to return. The mind, too, does not lose its clarity when life grows heavy. It is simply obscured like light behind a stormy sky, present, unseen. The mind's clear light, never broken, never dimmed, and yet worry thickens the clouds. Fear shortens the days. We forget the warmth that has never left. Rigpa does not need discovery. Alaya does not lose its depth. The sun does not argue with clouds. In stillness, the mind is set gently down. When striving loosens its grip, the light begins to show itself again. Not all at once, a minute more each day, a subtle warming at the edge of seeing. Not as attainment, but as recognition. The solstice teaches this. Nothing must be forced. Nothing essential is lost. And so we wait, trusting the light to lengthen itself through the simple courage of rest." Well, we gather at this poignant time in this cycle of the year, the sun at its lowest arc, the nights are long, the days are short and often gray. There's a natural collective turning inward. And in this quiet, seeming darkness, many traditions do a beautiful, instinctive thing. What do you think that is? They light lights. They light candles of Advent, kindling one more each week against the growing dark. They light a Christmas candle in the window, symbolizing welcome, hope, and safety. They light the 8 candles of the Hanukkah menorah, a miracle of resilience. They light lamps for Diwali, celebrating the victory of light over ignorance. And they light the Yule log, the warming the hearth against the cold. But why? Why is the impulse so universal? Because I think something in us knows. Even when the outer night is deepest, we remember, or we yearn to remember, the light is not only outside, it is also within. And not as a metaphor, as the fundamental truth of what we are. And so today I wanted to explore that truth not as a pleasant idea, but as the very ground of our being, revealed in one of the Buddha's most profound teachings, the Treatise on Buddha Essence, or the Uttara Tantra Shastra. But first, let's be honest about the darkness. It isn't just outside. It's the stress that tightens our shoulders as the to-do list grows. It's the pang of loneliness that can pierce the brightest holiday gathering. It's the memory of a loved one no longer in the chair beside us. It's the low-grade anxiety about the future for our families, our world, and ourselves. The Buddha named this pervasive feeling dukkha, the sense that things are off-kilter, unreliable, tinged with unease. And our first, most human reflex is to look for light out there. We string up lights, we buy presents, we fill our calendars. We are understandably seeking comfort, seeking a beacon. But the Dharma, in its great compassion, invites us to pause and to ask a deeper, more liberating question. Is the light we're seeking merely a temporary comfort held against the dark? Or could it be a reflection of something that is itself unborn, undying, and radiant? Something not just in us, but as the very essence of what we are. The Buddha pointed to us inward. In the Angulimala Sutta, he says, the mind's nature is luminous, but defiled by adventitious stains, end quote. That's one of my favorite words, adventitious. It means coming from the outside, incidental, temporary, like dust on a mirror, like clouds in the sky, like mud on gold. The teaching is not that we are broken, flawed beings who need to be fixed. The teaching is that we are whole, that we have forgotten. We are clean, but covered. We are awake, but sleeping. Our practice, then, is not a desperate construction project to build a light. It's a gentle, confident remembering of the light that has never gone out. The truth of our luminous nature isn't a later esoteric idea. It is the consistent heart of the Dharma, revealed in stages, like the sun gradually burning through the morning fog. It begins with the Buddha's own words in the earliest teachings in the Pali Canon. And the Prabhasara Sutta, the Buddha states directly, luminous monks is the mind, and it is freed from incoming defilements. Prabhasara Sutta, the luminous mind, and I apologize if my Pali is terrible, but the luminous mind, sometimes also translated as the radiant mind. And so let's unpack this, because it's the seed of everything we're going to explore today. Luminous, that's its nature. Innate, radiant, clear, free from the incoming defilements. And the defilements are our greed, hatred, anxiety, and they're described as incoming. They're visitors. They come from the outside like dust on the mirror. They're not the nature of the mind itself. They come and they go. And the brightness is not something we achieve, it's what we are before the dust settles. Now, the Mahayana tradition, with great compassion, took this profound seed and allowed it to fully blossom. It asked, if mind's nature is luminous and free, what is the full implication of that? And the answer is this majestic doctrine of Buddha nature, Tathagata Garbha. And it's a definitive map is the Uttara Tantra Shastra, the treatise on Buddha essence. The Uttara Tantra doesn't contradict the Buddha's early words. It unveils their ultimate meaning. It says this luminous nature isn't just a quality of a clean mind, it's the very essence of all beings, inseparable from the awakened mind of the Buddha. So listen to this from verse 27 of the root text, the Uttara Tantra Shastra. The Buddha essence is ever present in everyone because the Dharmakaya of perfect Buddhahood pervades all. The suchness is without differences, end quote. The Buddha's early teaching said the mind is luminous, and the Uttara Tantra explains why. Because the very essence of enlightenment, Dharmakaya, pervades all of reality. The suchness of confused moment is the suchness of the Buddha's wisdom, and they are not two separate things. But how can that be? If I look at my busy mind, I see anything but a Buddha. Here, the Uttara Tantra gives us a genius analogy extending the Buddha's logic. The Buddha says defilements are incoming. The Uttara Tantra says our essence is like gold buried in mud. For centuries, gold can lie in the earth, covered. The precious gold remains pure, unchanging. The mud is real, but incidental. It doesn't become gold. When washed, the gold is revealed. It didn't become gold. It was always gold. The Karmapa Rangjung Dorje's treatise on Buddha nature connects it directly back to the core insight by quoting the Hivajra Tantra. Sentient beings are Buddhas indeed. However, they are obscured by adventitious stains. If these are removed, they are Buddhas, end quote. Adventitious stains. Love it. That's the incoming defilements of the Pali Sutta, now seen in their ultimate context. Our stress, our fear, they are the mud. They are the dust, real on the surface, but they do not and cannot alter the fundamental luminosity beneath. And this leads to the most radical relieving instruction of the Uttara Tantra. In verse 154, it gives it to us. There is nothing whatsoever to be removed from this, nor the slightest thing thereon to add. Truly beholding the true nature, when truly seen, complete liberation, end quote. So let that land. The Buddha said, the mind is luminous and defilements are incoming. The Uttara Tantra concludes, therefore, there is nothing to remove, nothing to add. Our job is not to create light, but to recognize the light that is never, for a single moment, been obscured. So how do we relate this in our daily life? How do we move from the profound idea of Buddha essence to the felt experience of it when the mud feels so thick? We need a map. And the Dharma gives us two of the most beautiful practical maps that we could ask for. A classic and perfect analogy is the nature of mind is like the sky, vast, clear, open, inherently luminous. Our thoughts and emotions are like the weather, the sunshine, clouds, storm, and mist. The weather changes constantly. The sky holds it all, but is never changed by it. A storm does not damage the sky. A fog does not become part of the sky. You are not the passing storm of anxiety. You are the sky that knows the storm. You are not the heavy cloud of grief. You are the space that allows the cloud. This isn't poetic avoidance. It's practical wisdom. We don't need to deny the weather. We learn to relate to it from the stability of the sky. And the Uttara Tantra gives us the ultimate logic for the trust of, it says in verses 53 and 54, just as space has never been consumed by fire, likewise, this is never consumed by the fires of aging, sickness, and death. Just as the universe arises and disintegrates in space, likewise do the senses arise and disintegrate in the uncreated space. Your worries are the fire. Your true nature is the space. And the fire cannot burn space. All of your experiences, pleasant, painful, neutral, arise and dissolve within the awareness of space. Like the universe forming and vanishing in the sky, leaving the sky untouched. Another beautiful analogy is from the Uttara Tantra is that her essence is like gold buried in that mud. Gold does not become less gold because it's covered in dirt. And for centuries, it lies in the earth, unchanged, unstained, still perfectly precious gold. And when the mud is washed away, the gold's revealed. It didn't become gold. It was always gold. And our true nature is like that. The mud of our stress, our fear, our old stories, it's real on the surface, but it's incidental. It does not and cannot touch the gold beneath. It cannot alter your fundamental purity and your worth. The Uttara Tantra in verse 30 confirms this. Like the purity of jewel, space, or water, it is always undefiled in essence, end quote. And this is why we can find the same radiant truth in the Gold Sutra, which instructs us. The mind of awakening should be viewed as being in nature like gold. Just as gold is pure by nature, so the mind of awakening is pure by nature. Just as a smith shapes gold into a multiplicity of forms, yet the nature of gold does not change. Although the mind of awakening may appear to have a variety of unique attributes, ultimately these never waver from the mind of awakening. Therefore, its nature does not change. This is the final beautiful seal of the analogy. Our awakened nature. This is bodhicitta is like gold, pure by nature. Life may shape us into countless forms. Parent, worker, friend, stranger, joyful, grieving, confident, afraid. But the fundamental nature of the gold of our mind does not change. It never wavers. These two maps work together. The sky weather map tells you how to relate to your experiences right now. Identify with the sky, not the cloud. The gold mode map tells you why you can do that with confidence, because your core is unalterably pure, no matter how long it's been covered. And one is for practice of seeing, the other is for the confidence to keep practicing. When we touch this truth, even for a moment, something beautiful and inevitable happens. The inner light has two qualities. It illuminates, that's the wisdom, and it warms, the compassion. And they are one reality. Wisdom sees clearly. This thought is not me. This feeling is passing. This too is empty appearance. And compassion is the natural warmth that flows when we are not separate. It's what the heart does when it's not constricted by fear. The Uttara Tantra describes the bodhisattva who realizes this in verse 39. Those of compassionate love have, through prajna, completely severed all self-cherishing. Hence, by reliance upon these means to enlightenment, i.e., wisdom and compassion, the deeply realized abide neither in samsara nor the quiescence of a personal nirvana. True realization doesn't abandon the world for a private bliss. It engages the world with limitless warmth because it sees the same luminous essence in all beings, hidden beneath their own incidental mud. So when we connect to our inner light, we're not doing navel gazing. We are charging the battery of our own capacity to be a true benefit in a hurting world. So how do we remember the light when we're stuck in traffic, when we're facing a difficult conversation, or when we're lying awake at 3 a.m.? Here's 3 lamps you can practice. First is the lamp of pausing as the sky. When a wave of holiday stress hits, a sharp word, a flood of overwhelm, just pause. Don't follow the thought. Feel the sensation in the body. Is it tightness? Heat? Remember, that's the weather. And now gently shift your attention to the space around the sensation, to the awareness that knows the tightness. Feel that open, sky-like quality. And just rest as the sky for 3 breaths. The weather's still there, but you're abiding in what holds it. This is the practice of wisdom. The second is the lamp of outer reminders. This season is filled with literal lights, and let everyone be a mindfulness bell. When you see a candle, a string of lights, a star, pause internally and ask softly, can I feel the inner light that is aware of this seeing? You're not looking for a mystical flash. You're just noticing the awake, luminous quality of your own mind. It's seeing the gold, not the mud. And the third is the lamp of compassionate recognition. When someone is difficult, a rude stranger, a frustrating relative, instead of reacting from irritation, try this micro shift. Silently acknowledge, just like me, they have a luminous nature beneath their stains. Just like me, they are in pain. You don't have to approve of their behavior. You are recognizing their Buddha essence. And this turns judgment and connection. This is the practice of compassion, and it is a direct expression of your own realized nature. As we return to the world of light and shadow, let's carry this knowing. The practice I've shared are not chores, but invitations to come home. And remember, even on the longest night, the sun has already reached its southernmost point and has begun its return. The light is already increasing. And your inner light, according to the Uttara Tantra, it's never for a single instant departed, and it cannot depart. It is your nature. And as we close, I just want to share a short prayer. May this recognition of our luminous essence ripen in each of us. May it dispel our personal darkness, and may it become a source of fearless wisdom and boundless compassion for all the beings we meet. May we become lamps for each other in the long night of this world. May you carry this compassion as your warmth, wisdom as your light, and the unshakable joy of knowing as your true nature. And I hope that this talk has been beneficial.
Thank you for listening to the Rime Buddhist Center's Dharma Talk podcast. Music was provided by Barefoot Bran Music. Please consider supporting the Rime Buddhist Center by making a donation at our website at www.rimecenter.org/donate.